Well, Qatar's Foreign Ministry spokesman Majed al-Ansari has been giving a briefing in Doha. Let's listen in.
Good afternoon to all of you and welcome to this briefing, where we will start with the news of and activities of His Highness the Emir of Qatar. His Highness received a phone call last Tuesday from his brother Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, President of the United Arab Emirates, where Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed expressed his condolences to His Highness the Emir of Qatar and the state of Qatar for the explosion that has happened in a facility in Ras Laffan, and he confirmed the support of the state of the Emirates to the state of Qatar. His Highness the Emir of Qatar had phone calls with Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif, Prime Minister of Pakistan, and Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India. On last Thursday, His Highness had a phone call with Delcy Rodriguez, President of Venezuela. Acting President of Venezuela, His Highness expressed the support of the state of Qatar to Venezuela following the earthquakes that have hit certain areas in the country. Prime Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs, within the diplomatic efforts to contain the tension in the region, has received last Tuesday Tom Benton, Foreign Minister of Holland, and he met in the Sultanate of Oman, the Sultan of Oman, and he also met Badr bin Hamad bin Hamad al-Busaidi, Omani Foreign Minister. Last Thursday, Prime Minister and Foreign Minister take part in the GCC Foreign Ministers meeting in Manama, and with attendance of the French President Jean Macron. He also met His Highness Prince Farhan, the Saudi Foreign Minister, and Wiki Di Maio, representative of the European Union for the Gulf area. And also he had a phone call with Rodriguez, the acting president of Venezuela. His Excellency also had a phone call from Badr Abdel Ati, the Foreign Minister of Egypt, and His Highness Faisal bin Farhan, the Saudi Foreign Minister. Her Excellency, Minister of State for International Cooperation, took part in the meeting to implement the programs for the underdeveloped countries. And Minister of State, Dr Mohammed Abdulaziz bin Saleh Al Khalifi, took part last Friday in the Dubrovnik Forum held in Croatia, and took part in a session regarding the maritime safety and challenges facing the maritime passages. Also, Mr. Rodman, the Foreign Minister of Croatia, and Tony Kaiser, Foreign Minister of Slovenia, and Bakhtiar Saidov, Foreign Minister of Uzbekistan, and Abdel Salam Abdel Ali, Minister of Foreign Affairs in the Federal Republic of Somalia, and Muhammad Kamal Buzayna, Foreign Minister in Turkey, and Muhammad Anis Batta, Deputy Foreign Minister in Indonesia, separately. He had phone calls last Thursday with Van Heel, Foreign Minister of Venezuela. Within the same context and according to the instructions of His Highness the Emir of Qatar, and to express the solidarity of Qatar with Venezuela after the two earthquakes that hit Caracas, the Qatari airlift moved to Venezuela carrying the rescue teams from Qatar and the humanitarian aid, including tents and field hospitals and other equipment to serve and help the victims. If you have any questions, I'm ready. Saber, please. Thank you, Doctor, for briefing us to know the latest developments. I'd like to ask at the very beginning about the American envoy, Steve Witkoff, and has he arrived to Doha? Is he accompanied by Jared Kushner and the technical American delegation? Has they arrived to Switzerland? And the Iranian delegation, if there is any technical delegation or political delegation led by the foreign minister? And these talks that plan to be in Doha will be direct or through mediation or through sending messages through the Qatari envoy? Can you confirm or deny direct meeting between Witkoff and Iranian officials? And what is the agenda of these meetings? Do they have any other files, including the Iranian nuclear program and the safety? Hey, Sabri, you must have asked for the minutes of the meetings. First of all, let me confirm that the visit of Witkoff with Kushner to Doha is within meeting the mediators here in Qatar and talk about all the files, including the talks with Iran, Lebanon, and other files. This is the main reason of the visit. As far as I know, there is no high-level meeting between both sides. As you know, the mechanisms put for the negotiations doesn't include that. The technical meetings are ongoing since the very first meeting of Lausanne until today, with different direct and indirect meetings and contacts with the different parties. Qatar was keen to see these mechanisms as it is created, and the different meetings are being held, and the delegations are to be have a meeting. The meetings are ongoing and will be held in different contexts. Regarding the Iranian delegation, the technical Iranian delegation and the American counterpart are on ongoing meetings, but there is no, as far as I know, direct meetings between both parties during the few coming days. The mediators will play a role in order to have these meetings convened, and here in Doha or in any other place. Yes. Regarding what we have discussed, the Memorandum of Understanding and the content of the Memorandum of Understanding and the talks are ongoing regarding the Strait of Hormuz or the frozen funds or any other topic.
Thanks, Dr. Majed. Good to see you.
أشكرك دكتور الأنصاري. القضية حقيقة التي
Iranian foreign ministry today that is being, appears to be an issue that they want to discuss is Hormuz and the future navigation, a future operation of the Strait of Hormuz. Is it fair to say that that is the issue that is front and center right now and is potentially holding up further negotiations linked to this MOU? Can you try to help us clear up some of this confusion that we're all kind of experiencing?
First of all, Andrew, of course, we're all aware of the escalations that took place in the Strait of Hormuz during the past couple of days, and we did everything possible to contain the situation. We can confirm that the technical talks are still ongoing, although these escalations did take place, and we've confirmed from our position in Qatar and as mediators that all of these escalations would only need to lead to furthering the distance between the parties, and we need to contain them collectively speaking. Now, on the Strait of Hormuz as a topic, of course, it's one of the main topics in the negotiations that are taking place, as referred to in the MOU, but this is not the only topic of contention in these talks. There are other issues, of course, paramount amongst which is the nuclear program and the regional situation as a whole. But the talks, of course, will include the Strait of Hormuz as part of what is being discussed. Our position has always been very clear, which is that there should be no impediment to freedom of navigation through the strait and out, and that it's an international strait that we should all use openly and without any hindrance. The talks are progressing on the technical side, and we're hoping to see these issues, of course, resolved within the 60-day period. Callum?
Callum Payton, AFP. Dr Majed, thank you for the opportunity to ask questions. Just to follow up really on Saba's question in English, the US media has reported that US envoys were dispatched to Doha for talks, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. Will talks take place today with Qatari mediators? And do you expect Iranian officials either today or in the coming days for talks with Qatari mediators? And is there any indication that the two sides will meet in person, or will these be indirect discussions through mediators?
As I confirmed a while earlier, the US envoy, Mr. Steve Witkoff and Mr. Jared Kushner are here in Doha to meet with the mediators, meaning with the Qatari officials, and the talks will be around all regional issues which are of concern, including, of course, the negotiations with Iran, but also including Lebanon and other files in the region. So they are not here for direct negotiations with the Iranians or related meetings, as we have made clear in the past that the high-level meetings will only happen when the technical meetings are producing results for them to take place, and the technical meetings are ongoing between the parties, whether they are direct or indirect. It keeps moving in and out, according to the logistics of it and the discussions and the way they are progressing. But I can confirm that the technical meetings are still happening, and the mediators are working as go-betweens between the parties in the time being. We're not expecting any high-level Iranian officials at the moment, but as I said, the technical meetings are ongoing since Luzerne, and they haven't stopped since then. قدام.
أنا أسامة سعد الدين من العربي الجديد. أنا أود أسأل تحدث.
A question for Osama Saad-Din al-Arabi channel. Yesterday, some media outlet quoted the Iranian president as talking about the release of the $6 billion, the frozen fund. Is Qatar part of these file? Thank you very much. Talking about the $6 billion, the Iranian frozen money went back to an agreement on 2023 between the US and Iran to create the humanitarian canal here in Qatar. The main reason of that is to transfer these money according to the agreement for some humanitarian purposes. Qatar doesn't own this money. Qatar directs this money within the agreement between the parties. And as mentioned by the Memorandum of Understanding, the frozen money is part of the memorandum, but transferring the money or dealing with the money depends on the talks between the two parties, and this has not happened yet. Yes, let's stop here. Thank you, Dr. Buthaina Abdel Jalil from the Radio of Qatar. The talk about Strait of Hormuz and the frozen money. Hormuz, the two paths of Oman and Iran, is the situation as said by Iran. It is under the control of Iran, and this will affect the exporting of energy. And the Memorandum of Understanding talk about establishing a construction fund for Iran that will be part of participation of other countries like the Gulf countries. So how can we compensate the Gulf countries that have been damaged by this war? Thank you very much. The state of Qatar situation is firm. It is also the same situation of the Gulf countries and the world, because we all respect the international law for the maritime freedom through normal waterways for those, the beneficiary. It is confirmed and fixed and firm from part of the state of Qatar. We never accept any unilateral activities. We are in consolidation with our brothers in Oman, and we are quite concerned to make sure that the passage and the waterway is safe for the maritime. First of all, we need to clear all the mines, and this is a priority because the priority is the safety of those on board of the ships and tankers passing through the Strait of Hormuz. The human life is the top priority for everyone, and this is right now connected to the security choices and security procedures. Some of the ships have passed safely, and some others have been targeted. And we appreciate the role being played by the Sultanate of Oman. We have our own support to the Sultanate of Oman regarding any violation of its territories or sovereignty. Regarding the fund that you've mentioned, yes, this is something mentioned by the media outlet, but let's confirm that the frozen money has nothing to do with this matter. The frozen money mentioned in the Memorandum of Understanding relied on talks between both parties and the development of the talks. Until now, no development of the talks has happened yet. As we mentioned, regarding any compensations, wars has no losers and winners. Everyone is a loser when it comes to wars. We in Qatar has the priority of stopping the war, the return of normal maritime in the Strait of Hormuz, safety of the residents and the citizens and everyone in the region. This is our aim and our goal today. Talking about any other things can be mentioned in the future. We concentrate mainly on bringing back the security and stability to this region.
Yes.
Celia for BFM TV, French TV. Iranians refuse that France takes part of the mining and sees that as a provocation. What are the Qatar stances on that?
Yes, of course, demining is a very complicated process, and we do acknowledge the complications within that process and within the capacities of the regional countries to do that, and we welcome any international help on the technical, political side in resolving that issue. But I would leave the details of how that happens, of course, to the decision makers in the region and beyond in finding the right mixture for that to happen. But we appreciate, of course, the French engagement on that issue and the international engagement on that issue. And we do believe that this is an international crisis that needs an international way out. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Majed. Good to see you. I'm just going to go into a little bit more detail about the Strait of Hormuz. There was supposed to be a mechanism of de-confliction where an officer, probably from the IRGC, was supposed to come to Doha. Has this been formulated? Is there direct line of communication between the parties for de-confliction, or are they still going via intermediaries vis-a-vis Doha or Islamabad? And the second part of this is we've seen the condemnation from Qatar about the attacks and the escalation by Iran, various countries. Is there anything on the cards right now for a regional interaction with Iran? We've heard yesterday the Iraqi foreign minister suggest something to that effect. Is that something in the making? And finally, on the frozen assets, could you clarify how much volume of Iran's frozen assets are in Qatar? And if the parties agree that there is going to be some release of funds, are they going to go to Iran, or are they going to be paid in terms of payments to various vendors? Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, regarding the de-confliction measures, as you know, there is a channel of communication that was established for that purpose, which has been used in the containment of the escalation that took place in the past couple of days. I won't go into the technical details of how that happens, but I would just say that there is a channel of communication that's been established, and it is in operation. When it comes to regional interaction with Iran, we've always believed in Qatar that regional issues should be solved by regional engagement. And this is exactly what we are pushing for right now in working with our regional partners, discussing with our regional partners how to reach that moment where it is viable and suitable for the countries of the region, including Iran, to sit down together and to put their concerns on the table. And obviously, that would be respect of neighborly relations between lateral countries in the regions, respect for sovereignty, and of course working together towards security concerns, elevating security concerns from all sides, and that hopefully would lead to economic integration and integration of some sorts in the region. But right now, of course, we're in discussions with our regional partners for that to happen. Regarding the frozen assets, as I confirmed a moment ago, this is part of the 2023 agreement that was under the Biden administration between the United States and Iran to move $6 billion of the frozen assets of Iran to Qatar, to corresponding banks, European corresponding banks, in order for that money to be utilized in payment for humanitarian goods to be given to Iran. It is still the case. No money has moved yet, and the frozen assets issue is addressed in the Memorandum of Understanding, but as part of the ongoing process of developing the agreements between both sides.
Thank you, Dr. Majed, once again. I have two questions. Questions regarding relations between the Gulf region countries and Iran, and is there any possibility to normalization of relations between the two parties? What about the mediation role so as not to prevent any aggression against the Gulf countries? The second question, Qatar has played a mediation role between Russia and Ukraine, and we haven't seen swap of children, exchange of children between both parties. Is there any contact, or are there any contacts between the parties, between Moscow and Kyiv, or has both capitals are now in direct talks? Thank you. Thank you very much. Regarding relations between the war, this war has affected not only the relations between the region's countries, but has affected the international view of the freedom of navigation, the security organization and structure in the region. Everything has to be revised and reconsidered on the table, but we can confirm that we are in Qatar. There is nothing, there is no alternative. We need to leave our problems aside and find regional solutions that put in mind all the reservations and the threats in every party. This is always what we support in our foreign policy, whether with countries we have good relations with or other countries. We need to face the reality, and we need to face the situation like this. Qatar now has been attacked. The violation of Qatar has been violated, and thank Allah Almighty, and due to the wisdom of the leaders and the strength force of the Qatari armed forces, we have managed to protect our country. We hope that there will be a regional understanding in the region without any threats to any countries. Regarding the guarantees so as not to be attacked again, we know during the wars, everything depends on the field reality, on the reality on the ground. Now we have ceasefire, we have Memorandum of Understanding. Qatar is playing a role in the mediation, and with the help, with the major help of Pakistan. The aim is to reach a peaceful solution and to put an end to this war. Regarding the children in both Russia and Ukraine, Qatar has played this role in that major conflict in the world nowadays, and more than 100 children have returned back to their families. This is a humanitarian story. Every and each child in both countries must return to their families, and these are some efforts that are being played, but we are quite confirmed and quite loyal to this principle and committed to that.
شكرا Dr. Majed. حياك الله.
Thank you, Dr. Majed.
Just two quick questions. One is relating to the role of who is overseeing the passage through the Strait of Hormuz. We saw escalations the last couple of days that seem to suggest there is confusion around this. Iranian officials say that all passage must be coordinated with Iran and with the Persian Gulf Strait Authority. Can you comment on what Qatar's position is about this? And secondly, could you just describe the role that Qatar is playing in the ongoing mediation efforts at the moment? Thank you.
Thank you. Regarding the Strait of Hormuz, let me make it very clear. Our position has been crystal clear since this has begun. The movement in the Strait should not be hindered by any logistical or security management method. We believe that the Strait is a natural occurrence. It's open. The international maritime laws are very clear on this. On the current situation, of course, because of the war situation, we have the issue of the mines. We have the security concerns with all these attacks happening. Of course, there is a need for coordination between the parties, and this is why we established a channel of coordination to make sure that there is a security channel that can oversee the vessels going in and out through the straits and making sure that there are no hindrances. And hopefully within 30 days when the demining happens, we can have an open strait that doesn't have any security concerns for those going in and out. Qatari role in the mediation is very clear. As you know, we have been asked to play the role of mediator alongside our brothers in Pakistan. We are continuing to do that, and we are engaging with both parties and with our partners in the mediations on a daily basis. The technical teams are meeting and discussing and on the phone every day to make sure that we are pushing further the agreements on all sides. Andrew?
Thank you. I wonder if you could just help unpack this term that we keep using, technical talks, because it's an ambiguous and sort of somewhat, open to interpretation. So as these mediators here in Qatar, what are technical talks and how do they differ from high-level talks? And can you give us some examples?
So technical talks are not high-level talks, to put it very simply. So they are not the talks between the main negotiators on both sides. So you will not see His Excellency the Prime Minister in these talks. You'll see people from a technical level, hence the term technical talks. The details of everything that the principals have already lined up as agenda items is discussed between the technical representation from all sides, which hopefully will produce documents that will be elevated to the principals in the high-level meetings to agree upon. On the contents of the talks, they are what you would expect. You have a track on the nuclear side, you have a track on the economic and Strait of Hormuz issue, you have a track on security and the regional security. So it's discussing everything that should be agreed upon within that technical level. And I would say that the word technical here refers to the level more than the type of talks that are taking place.
Thank you, Doctor. Question from the Qatari television. At the very beginning, our condolences to those who lost their life. Do you have any details? And the escalation, do you think, is the reason behind his martyrdom? Thank you. At the very beginning, our condolences once again to the family of the martyr and to this incident that is very painful to all of us here in Qatar. The security agencies will talk about this. There was a statement from our colleagues in the Interior Ministry. And what I can say now is, as everyone knows, some countries like Bahrain have been targeted, and there was movement near to the Qatar airspace, and we have some shrapnel, and some of the shrapnel have hit the ship and led to his martyrdom.
Callum, you had a question?
Callum Payton again from AFP. I just wanted to ask again about what the expectations were about an Iranian delegation coming to Doha. I take your note about technical talks being ongoing and taking place in different places, but Iranian officials have said that they would be dispatching a team to Doha. I just wonder if you can comment on when we could expect this team to arrive, what their purpose would be here, and when we might expect them.
So the technical teams are the ones coming in and out of Doha and other locations for this. So this reference is probably the technical team that is involved in the talks with the mediators in pushing a lot of these technical issues forward. It's not a high-level delegation, as I stated earlier. It's the technical side of the negotiations. Sabr?
شكرا دكتور صابر
Thank you,
أيوب
Dr. Sabr Ayub from Al Arabi TV. Once again, is Qatar trying to find a mechanism to keep contacts ongoing between Iran and the US to avoid any military action like what happened recently? This can be a threat to the agreement signed. And is the political Iranian delegation and the technical Iranian delegation have their own say, and Qatar in the future will be dealing with this file, despite the fact that the talks will take a long time. Regarding the mechanism, I've mentioned the mechanism. There is a contact channel to guarantee the talks. As I said to our colleague again, the technical delegations are the technical coming and going according to the talks. We have no high-level delegation now in Doha. Thank you very much, and we will meet next week.